Hey everyone, welcome back on another episode of Friends Next Door. This is Mia.
It's Dan.
It's Thomas.
It's Kwan.
And
Woo.
woo!
We only did that twice.
We only did that twice.
Oh.
It's okay. All right, so we have an exciting topic
As always.
They're always
today. And all of you introverts can probably relate.
Mm-hmm.
And it came up during my conversation with Kwan the other day as I was just talking about, where a lot of us are going back to the office these days, meeting more people, getting out there in the world, putting our pants on.
Important
Putting your
step.
pants on?
For real.
Did you say pants
Yeah,
on?
pants. It's a real
You're
step.
meaning
It's
like
like
in
a
Why
work.
you put your
work
pants
from
on?
home
No,
situation.
like
You don't really
home.
need. Dan, what are you thinking?
I was like, oh, I see. Like you're
The
saying putting
extra
your
step
like
of
you're
putting your
actually
pants on.
Right. you're going
And
to work.
also
Right,
real
right.
pants.
Yes,
on.
not in that order.
Right.
The order was kind of screwed up a little bit. But anyway, like, the idea of just going out there, meeting people, socializing with people,
Yeah.
it can be exhausting
Daunting.
to some. Yes,
Especially if you haven't done it in a while.
exactly.
properly.
Exactly. Like we haven't
Yeah.
really exercised that muscles in the last 2 years, and so for some of us, it takes some practice
Yep.
to like get back out there and then also talk to people and socialize. So.
Is that
as
you guys?
I was feeling a little bit exhausted at one
Really?
point, and I felt like, if I'm out of my apartment, I need to be on.
Did
So we were
you-
talking about the concept of having to be on when
Yeah.
you're
Right.
interacting with other human beings.
Were
Yeah.
you looking forward to returning to work?
I was last year.
Yeah, I think it
Right.
changed a little.
Yeah,
Same for
it
me,
did
too.
change for me this year. And then as I got more comfortable working from home,
Yeah.
and just like, you can
The comfort of
be
your own home.
You can
Yeah.
wear your pajamas
Sweats.
and nobody's going to care.
Your pants.
Yeah.
Your pants. Your other pants.
Yeah, your other fans. And so as that deadline was looming, I was like, I just don't want to go back to work.
But you, not because you didn't want to see people, because you just got comfortable working at home.
I think that's
think so.
I think that's a good nuance to point out
Yeah.
because like the pandemic,
Yeah.
I think when you haven't done something for like 2 years or a year and a half, I think it can be daunting to do that thing. But I think there's also, let's say you, even before the pandemic, right? There's still this concept of being on.
Right.
And some people feel it more than others. It might mean something different to everybody as well.
Right.
So the pandemic definitely like pushed, I think, everybody. Even I'm a pretty extroverted person, and same as you, Mia. I was like the first year, I was like that would be nice, and then the second year, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
All right, wait. So Thomas is an introvert.
Yes.
And he would
Indeed,
define
facts.
it. So I would define myself as an extrovert. You're an extrovert. Mia, are you? I feel like you're.
Are you
An
confused about me?
feel like
an ambivert.
You
maybe?
are an extrovert, but you also have some introvert tendencies.
Wait,
As do we all,
I
though.
think I'm
No?
the opposite. I
True,
think I'm an
okay.
introvert with extrovert tendencies. I don't
You're
know.
the wild card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
that's accurate. That's accurate. I think that's accurate.
Oh, somebody's alarm. Weird. Anyways, interruption. Because when I first met you, I'm like, well, first of all, you're in sales, so you kind of have to
Yep.
be an extrovert.
You got to be on.
I gotta be on.
You gotta be
all
on.
the time.
Yeah.
True.
So for you, you have this concept of on. That is interesting.
Who is it?
It's
What is
somewhere over
that?
there.
Oh, is that the camera?
I thought it was the camera at first.
Why would the camera beep?
Is it a microwave? No, it's not microwave. It's your. I don't know.
My phone is in my pocket.
It's
Wait,
okay.
Is it my phone?
No,
That's
it doesn't
so-
come
No,
that's-
from your.
It sounds like a watch.
What is that? What is that?
It's over there. I don't know. Is it not the
Is there
camera?
a stove?
Oh, the fridge?
The fridge. The fridge. It's possible.
No, we're just closed.
Also, I'm gonna turn off.
Oh
this.
yeah.
I'm retarded.
Oh yeah, I got it.
What was it?
I don't know.
It'll come. Oh, didn't it come back? That was just it.
No.
Does it not sound like the camera?
I thought it was the camera at first, but I.
It's got to be the camera, but why is it?
Yeah, but why?
I got full battery.
Because it comes in from that general direction.
Yeah, because it's not the stove, it's not the microwave. Is it the
Well, maybe. All right, we'll find out.
Okay.
We'll find out. All right. So what do we need to do? Clap again?
No, I didn't stop it.
No.
Just keep on.
Okay.
We can.
Thomas is an introvert. Facts.
Yeah.
And then what were we talking about?
That's right. So I
I'm in sales.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mia's in sales, so I thought you were an introvert. I'm gonna start
So
that again.
here's-
So wait,
yes,
hold on.
okay.
Stop, and then I can cut it. So silence for a second. So Mia's an introvert, right? Because you're in sales. But then you're not. You're
So
like-
okay. So I'm in. It's true that I'm in a client-facing
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in sales, although there's a sales component to it.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
And she's in that role, and she happens to be introverted.
Right.
Yeah. Because
Right.
most people are extroverted in those roles.
Because that's
More
why
so.
you have this concept of on.
yeah,
That's true.
I
There
have
it
to
is.
like
amp it up.
yeah. I
So
have that mode.
so what's are you on right now?
I am on right now.
I was gonna say, wait, what? So am I seeing
I wasn't
on
on
Mia,
10 minutes
or-
ago as
wait,
I was like exhausted.
but we're
Yeah.
not like your clients. We're your friends.
No, but I have to like
You gotta
Be
bring
on.
it. You
Oh,
gotta.
this
We
is-
want
this
to
is-
bring it.
So when we go
for
out,
the people who are watching this.
We want to
Okay.
bring it.
what about when we're just hanging out? Are you on?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It depends.
It does
So
depend.
if it's with people that I'm comfortable with, I don't have to be on.
Yeah.
I can just do whatever. But yeah, it
Okay.
depends.
So if
Yeah.
you're hanging out with like new people,
Yeah. There's a level of like,
unfamiliarity.
I don't want to call it perform, but it is
Right.
kind of like a performance.
So can you define like what's the difference between on for you and off for you?
I think being engaged and not being as engaged.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, that is interesting.
Wait. So when you're not on, you just like don't care about the other. You
So,
know, you're
like-
just like, yeah,
so, like,
whatever.
I'm not
yeah,
really
'cause, like-
listening to what you're saying.
Oh,
I'm not
really?
really
So with,
aware
like-
of my surroundings.
Wait, so let's take your new people.
I
like
can be like
example.
relaxed. Yes.
Oh wait.
Like okay, if I meet new people, I need to I don't know and
Okay,
Oh,
here's an
wait.
example. Here's an
Okay.
example. It's like when you meet new people, you need to make sure that you're like fully engaged, like
Right.
listening to what we're saying, and
Right.
able to respond.
Yeah.
Versus when you're with
asking questions.
yeah. Versus when you're like just hanging out with us,
Mm-hmm.
like you'll be on your phone, like talking to your like messaging to your family and stuff, like stuff that would be considered rude with like new people.
I think that's a good distinction.
Okay.
Right.
That's one of them.
So when you are disengaged, you are off.
If
And
I'm
when you are
ignoring you, that means I'm
engaged-
comfortable.
But see, but that doesn't. But that. But like that.
Wait, okay, maybe
Yeah.
maybe okay, that's just one example.
Right, that's one
yeah,
example.
not
That's
necessarily
one example.
disengaged.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
doesn't have to be engaged all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
able to disengage.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah.
able
Yeah,
to
yeah.
disengage, and
Okay.
come back in. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
That's a
just
thing.
you guys. I'm trying to
You're
think
trying
of like
to process
what
this information
I-
because even when
Yeah.
we brought this
Yeah.
topic to you,
Yeah.
you were all confused.
Yeah.
But I
Mia
think we kind of-
Mia asked Dan, "Are you ever off?" And he's like, "No." I think that was the
I
question.
feel like because I'm.
like, do you even have these two modes to begin with?
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
No, I
No.
think when Dan's off, he's asleep.
Or it's like, you've been over. I
Yeah.
feel like maybe overworked or really like
I
pushed.
mean, I know that there's a
perhaps.
concept of it because my wife Yi goes through it every day. I think one of her biggest struggles is like being on,
Right.
And so she will. That's why she doesn't agree to any social activity because she doesn't like to cancel. So if she agrees, she's
That's a
like,
good
I
rule.
want to make sure that I later on I can commit to this, or I'm just gonna flat out say I can't do it. I can't, and it could be anything
rule,
from
honestly.
a dinner to. I mean, she basically never goes with me to any social outing, which I'm fine with. Like I don't care. I'm going because I'm
Yeah.
on for the both of us.
yes, yes,
Let's go.
yes, yes.
So I don't have this concept because to me it's just like I'm just living life to the fullest. So
Do you
Yeah.
ever
This
feel
is
like
like, why turn it off if the purpose of living is
It's
to
to
be
be
on?
Yes. So I really align with that though,
Yeah.
because I only recently, because I understand this concept of on, because I do think if you are client facing, but you are client facing, Dan, so you never
I'm
feel like
just-
you're on.
he's
No.
so
You're not?
client facing?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
so client, because I did feel like I had to turn it on sometimes for
Yeah.
some clients when I was client facing. And then occasionally, so like Mia knows this, I think you guys all know this, where like I will strike up long, and Dan does this too, I know, like long, deep conversations with strangers, like everywhere.
Right.
And I love it.
Right.
But I also have gotten into conversations where I'm like, why are we still here?
But then
But
you cut it.
because-
You just go. I gotta go.
But usually, usually I'm very good at like,
Right.
if I don't want to be here, like, but I'm very good at politely
Yeah.
declining. Like, I'm very good at preventing that. Like, if I don't want to
Yeah.
talk to you, I'm very good at politely like excusing myself and stopping it early. But sometimes you're on a bus to work or after work, and like the person is very nice.
No,
but
Kwan, that doesn't happen to everyone.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
Ma,
if you're in a
say
bus,
something. You gotta back me up here.
no.
I
I was
don't
gonna
talk to
no,
strangers.
Yeah.
no. The evidence. I was gonna back
They
you
don't
up.
talk to strangers.
No,
we talk to strangers.
I was gonna back you up here, Mia. When you're on a bus, you
Yeah.
can't escape, and if you don't
Yeah.
want to talk to the person, and you can't like. It would be rude, I think, to move seats to me
Yeah.
if you don't want to talk to them. So I have had that concept very like
Yeah.
in those areas where I'm like, okay, I have to like slowly, curtly end the conversation and look towards more of the window, or I have to kind of like listen longer than I want to. Yeah.
So here's the distinction for me, because how I know that I just have one switch, because in my older years, I just talk to less strangers now. So for me, there's no like. I think for you guys, you avoid the social interaction because you don't want to be on and engaged. You just want to like leave me alone if I don't know you. So for me, I'm just like, yeah, like naturally, I talk to much less people on the street now. So the people that I will have,
It's basically the stranger that you avoid, Thomas.
yeah,
Yes.
like now I pretty much won't, and the people, but I do still enjoy talking to all the people around me that are not within my immediate friend circle. So like our door people, our porters, people that park my car that I see every day regularly. I love because they're part of my life.
Yeah.
A small part,
Wait,
yeah.
what do you talk about with your building staff?
all kinds of stuff. Like I was playing basketball today and one guy was like, oh, just like talking basketball. The people that park my car, like they all have 2 jobs. One of them's getting his real estate license. So he's like, hey, he's like asking me for advice. Another guy's like, it's just interesting. Like they all have like 2 jobs. So we just talk about stuff like randomly. I'm not having like an hour-long conversation. It's
Right.
like
No, they don't
a
have to be
3-minute
hour-long.
conversation. But it's like
Right.
daily, And then like most of the time he's like, can we go please? she's like, I'm going to go upstairs. And by now they know that. So they're like, okay, bye. And then we'll just keep talking. I'll practice my Spanish with the guys. Like, we just like plenty to talk about, I guess.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yes.
like I see people just chat with like the
Yeah.
doorman all the time. I'm like,
I find them much more interesting than my neighbors. Sorry if you listen to this podcast randomly. I don't really know.
And somehow, if you know where Dan lives,
Somehow. No, because what if I like met one and I was like, I have a podcast, and then they go on.
that's true because you would do that.
But you're the
You would
cool
do that.
neighbor if you listen to, because I talk to you in the hallway.
Yeah, and I also remember one time, I think we were in Hangout Hudson, on the weekend, and we were walking along the river, and I look back and Dan just disappeared. And
Yeah.
I look for, and we just like walked through the parking lot, and I look back and he's chatting up like someone that worked there or something. Like
Yeah, that's right.
Restaurant worker.
I forget. I do remember that time.
This went on
actually.
for like 20 plus minutes.
I forget why.
So it's not an hour-long conversation. It's
20-minute conversation. Yeah. But Kwan, I feel like you're just chatting up strangers on the bus. That I don't do that anymore.
So that bus example was like I didn't want to continue that conversation.
But people somehow just start conversations with you in these.
They do. I think that I give off a vibe that like somebody would think like, oh, I can talk to this person.
Yes,
it happened
me too.
literally.
I
It
realized
happened
me
at work
too.
today. I could
Yeah.
tell because I don't know if you felt this.
Yeah.
It has worked in my disfavor sometimes because you're the go-to. Like, let me ask you a question. I'm like, leave me alone sometimes. But it happened today at work where there was like a staff member, and there's a lot of construction at our building right now, and I just, when somebody walks past, I just make eye contact and I say hi.
Yes, I do
I've
that
done
too.
it, and like I have done it significantly less because One, I think I used to do it because I was like, oh, I want to be friendly and I want people to like, not this incessant need, but like now I'm just like, hey, I don't need to say hi to everyone. It's
I
okay.
find it weird not to
But-
say hi to people.
Yeah.
Wait,
so-
but people don't do that in New York because I used
No.
to do that in California. But then as
And
soon
then
as
they
I
think
moved to
I'm
New York,
crazy.
I was like, well, okay, so they don't,
No.
eye contact. They just look down or
Yeah.
like.
So I don't do that on the street. Literally, I don't look at anybody on the street because
No,
I
I'm talking
learned-
work setting.
even
yeah,
work.
Yeah, work like the places you frequent.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
at my apartment, so anybody in my hallway, anybody in my building, I will say hi to. Like I'm not gonna be like, hey, how you doing?
Right.
It's like a hi. Like
Yes.
hi, how you doing? And you just say how you doing and you just walk past. You
Yes.
But that
You know?
usually stops there.
Yeah.
know? It does, yeah. Unless
So-
they stop and then it's like, oh, you want to get into conversation? Okay. Like,
And so with the person at work today, I feel like he came back and asked me a question, right? And like didn't ask anybody else a question. So I do think there's a little bit, I invite it a little bit. But if I want to cut it short, I'm like pretty good at cutting it short. So I also don't engage in longer social interactions usually than I want to. And I try to make them feel really comfortable. I'm just like, okay, I gotta go. And it's done. It's like, it's fine.
So back to the concept of on. So are you like worse at it now? Like, do you dread it more
Oh.
in this time? Like, do you find yourself constantly saying like, oh, I don't want to go out to this event because now I don't feel like
Yeah.
being on, like having to be engaged.
I don't think I'm worse at it, but it tires me out more.
I was gonna say the same
Yeah.
thing. I don't think I'm like less inclined to go to these social events, but my social battery gets drained faster.
battery. Did we just coin something?
Yes. How do you charge your social battery?
In the
that-
future, are we
Yeah.
just gonna have like a port? And just like charging ourselves?
Is that related to the
jeez.
social credit system?
And it's on your neck.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hold on a sec, I gotta charge myself.
right in the back.
Like same. So for me, same thing. Like going back to, I just say no now
Yeah.
to more things.
But if it's something that you have to go to,
I guess I don't have to go to anything. What do you have to? Like, what do you have? Yeah, what do you have to go to?
Maybe that contributes to the being on. I think that actually ties because you feel like there's an obligation there. So not only do you feel like you have to go, but you have to also be engaged.
Yeah.
Why don't we want to go and want to be engaged? Like
I mean, like, you gotta go. I mean, obviously, you gotta go to a wedding. but the difference is you actually want to be there, right?
right. Yeah.
So here's the thing: if somebody invited me to a wedding, I didn't want to be there, I would probably just not go.
what about a happy hour?
Oh,
no.
that one's way less.
No.
What? Wedding and happy
All right, so
hour?
one of my
like,
friends, one of my
what?
really good friends
No
from
way.
back home, just invited me to a belated bachelor party. I guess I haven't told him no yet, but I was like, I'm sorry, I'm almost 40. Like, I'm not going to Mexico City to like. I don't drink, so I'm just gonna hang out with you guys while you drink. Sorry, like this should have happened 10 years ago. But I love them. I'll go hang out with them. I'll go spend the
Right.
weekend with them.
Yeah, but this
I'm not
specific
gonna
activity you're
travel,
not interested in.
right? And I don't feel the need to.
Like I think that's the
yeah.
key word. You don't feel the need to, even though you're close with them.
Yeah, very close. And they'll probably be pissed at me for not going. They'll probably pressure me to go. They'll probably like rag on me for not going, and I'll be like,
Thomas, I feel like
Sorry,
you don't
bro.
have this problem, or like have less of this problem where you feel like you have to go. Do you have that thought?
Yeah, I don't anymore. I just don't go. No, because like for happy hours, right? Because before it's like it depends on your company culture. Like one of my previous companies, like really like happy hours were like how you made friends at work, right? And so I didn't make any friends at work.
Is that not true anymore? Like, because usually that's what happens.
I think at large, I mean, I think it depends on the company. Because like my previous startup, like a lot of people went to trivia night or whatever else that they did. It wasn't just happy hour, right? And then like I'm at a larger firm now, so it's like even more like different types of activities if I'm interested in. Versus for that one, it was like kind of a close knit group, and that was their thing to do.
Yeah, because before Quan joined us, like for you and for me and Thomas, I felt like you guys had this work component that actually like you kind of had to participate, especially from time to time, to be engaged, to like make sure you didn't get overlooked. You know, when people were like, "Hey, who's up for the next promotion?"
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
or like
I mean,
just
it does
like, you
happen,
know,
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
just making friends in general.
Yeah.
Was that the case for you?
This is a good question. I think I have like an opposite problem where like I don't struggle with that. And
Yeah.
this is where I'm talking about it's worked. There's like the parts where it doesn't work in your favor always because you're like seen as a overly social person sometimes, or like it's a misread signal. I think sometimes where it's like, oh, maybe this person has like too much time on their hands. Especially we're talking about work, right? This person might have too much time on their hands, or they that might be the only one. I do not struggle in that area.
I'm curious, when there are events like a work party, happy hour that you get invited to, what's your first thought? Like excitement or dread?
So it depends on like how cool the event is, I
Okay.
think, number one, and like who is putting it on.
Okay.
In general, I like them because it's like free nice things, and I like free nice things.
Okay.
But if we're talking like a happy hour,
Yeah.
I probably feel neutral, maybe
Yeah.
slightly. Like, I also just like moved to the city, right? So there's
Yeah.
also
That
more
element.
new people as well, and like I think I'm not bad at meeting new people, but I guess like as you get older, it is more
I
like
think it changes.
I think it changes a little bit, and it makes me a tiny bit sad. But then at the same time, I'm like, I'm good with what I got. But in general, I don't feel like dread. I do not feel dread.
Right.
I used to dread it.
That's why you have a clear distinction between like on Mia and off Mia.
Yeah, because yeah.
Very interessant. So for me, like I always look forward to, like I always threw the parties. So if there was a party, I'm like, if I decide to do
Same.
it, I am
Yes.
all 1000% in. So I'm like, yes, I'm so excited. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
If there's something coming up, like how, party at this person's place or this event, I'm like all for it.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that years ago, I did a lot more partying. So I would naturally want to do that more. Now I don't do any partying, so I say no to everything. so it hasn't really changed for me, because if I decide to go, I'm there. There's no like I got to be on. Like I'm there and I'm just me. So, and the thing is, I could be totally silent at a party. Like there's been tons of parties where I had to go. I get what I get out of it. I don't want to talk to a single person there. So I'm just like smiling, making like very, very quick small talk. And then like, all right, I'm out. Like I showed up, I'm out. But I didn't feel like I had to be on.
Yeah, I think actually there's like the social concept of being on, but I actually feel more on when I feel like sometimes like with family or like when I feel like I have an obligation. Like I think it stems from the obligation. So whether it be like a social obligation or like another whatever type of obligation you have, because I don't necessarily think it's like, oh, you're in a room full of not super extroverted people. I feel like I have to be on sometimes because other people aren't stepping up, or I have to like cater to a specific type of personality. Right. And I'm also trying to like prove myself in some way. Like I want to do a good job in some way. So it can, now that I think about it, I'm like, for me, I feel like that's when I feel the most like I got to be on. Like, but that's just me.
You have to bring your A game.
Yeah. Whether it be at work, because like at work where it's a very like I work on very like analytical things, and so maybe like you said, Jan, it's not necessarily the social part, but it's like I got to be on with like a specific problem to solve, or like, or again at home like we like got to like make sure like all these things are getting done, but it's not like a social thing for me. I don't think for me it's a social thing actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't think of it that way because to me it's all just the social aspect of it.
Yeah. No, it's fair.
I'm like, I don't want to see this person, but I have to.
But that,
So
but
I
why
have
don't
to
you just?
be on.
But why don't you
Is
just
it-
say no?
No, but I'm saying like
For work stuff.
I'm
Oh,
yeah,
for
this
work
is
stuff.
this is
Yeah.
in work situation. It's less so in social settings with
Yeah.
friends, but more so this this socializing at work. Is
That's
probably
interesting because I never had to do that
Socializing at,
at
work.
work. Yeah,
What do you mean?
I don't socialize with my coworkers
Oh.
at all. I have my
Ever?
clients and I have my coworkers, and I don't socialize with my coworkers unless we're
Really?
friends. But then we're just friends. You know what I'm saying? And I have been to work things where I have a very tight immediate group, and I've genuinely enjoyed every time that we've gone out. I just don't have a lot of time to go out with them. And then like when we do go out once in a while, we're like, man, this is cool. We should do it more often. So that's how you know you're like, okay, I like these people.
Yeah.
But then like if it's a work event and there's more strangers, I could give less of crap about you because we're also all frenemies in my line of work.
Oh.
yeah, so
your
we're
line
all
of work is very,
frenemies.
your line
And
of work.
when we're all fake smiling at each other. Meanwhile, we're like, I kind of hate you, or you're an idiot. I can't believe I have to work with you. So yeah, I don't have like those. So I guess it's just what you do. Like you guys
That's
all
fair.
have teams, so you kind of have to
That's
play
true.
nice, right?
We do.
You guys,
too.
right?
Yeah.
You have
Yeah,
in
of
your
course. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, of
Whereas
course.
I don't have. If I don't want to talk to you, I don't have to talk to you.
That is so interesting.
But
That
the
makes sense.
client, you have to talk to the client.
Yeah, but I don't see clients as like my colleagues. Like I'm talking right at work, you have your so for you, like when I'm with my clients, I don't feel like I have to be on
Why not?
because I'm just me. Because it's like if you don't like me, you're not gonna work with me. It's very simple.
But you need to present the best version of yourself to the client.
Okay, so I guess I've always just presented
Yourself.
the version of
Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
Does that make sense? Like from
yeah,
the
'cause
day
there's no
I was
pressure.
born, yeah. Because
Yeah.
I really don't care how I come off.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm like not a bad person.
Okay.
Like you're
I'm
good
not
enough.
saying you're a bad person.
You're good enough,
I'm not saying you're
as
like
you are.
you're like a deviant person. You know,
I'm
like,
a degenerate person.
like I'm not saying you're trying to hide yourself. I
But
guess.
this
Yeah,
approach,
yeah.
I think, helps with like there's no pressure that you put on yourself.
Yeah.
Or less pressure at least.
Like if they don't like me, then
Yeah.
I don't, okay, sorry.
That is so
I don't know.
interesting. That's
What
Yeah.
about in the beginning though, when you had to, when like maybe you didn't have as much like, well, I
w-
need every single lead I
Yeah,
get.
I was
type
more,
of.
I was definitely more aware of like how yes, I was more aware, but it's like more like salesmanship, like trying to not say the wrong thing, but I'm still myself. Does that make sense? So, but that's just
like
more
that
like
distinction.
salesmanship, like learning the act of sales. So, like don't talk yourself out of a deal. Don't talk too much
Yeah.
once the deal's
I
like
feel
just
like I have to always
skills.
be like that when
Oh,
I'm,
interesting.
meeting
Yeah.
with a client.
Do you
for
like
example.
sales? No, I mean I know you don't just do sales, but like the whole
Yeah, I know.
part
I know.
of it.
Not really.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
see,
not
that's,
really.
That's funny because I like sales. So
So,
I'm like,
so I think it's unfortunate because there's two parts of sales. We're tangentially going somewhere else, but like
I
we
mean,
can bring it
even
back.
also
but,
like in personal settings, you also need to like sell yourself. a
right,
little
because
Yeah.
like sales, right?
Yeah.
There's like the people part,
Yeah.
and then there's like the target part, right?
Right.
And like that is pressure. That
Yeah.
right there, the target.
yeah, they're definitely
So
two.
that's why I'm like, no.
Mm.
But the people part,
Right. The people part's the fun part.
yeah.
In my opinion.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Thomas has just been listening to this whole conversation and be like, I don't think so. I don't agree with that. I don't know what you're talking
No, because
about.
like for me, even at work, it's like it's like I do feel like it's every time I have a meeting, it's like oh, I need to be on because that is how I present myself. It's not so much because like versus like it's not just being able how I present myself, it's how I present myself at like a specific time frame, right? Because now it's like, oh, I have to make sure I say all the right things at like and not sound decrepit, things like that, and, like coherent things like that, right? Versus when I'm just at my desk, I can go at my own pace, and that's the thing.
To
for
me, there's a distinction between like being on for a meeting and then being on in social settings.
Yeah, I think we were
Yeah.
actually talking about similar situations where like needing to present like a milestone or like a something versus
Like I don't consider being on your A game, let's say at work, being on. Because to me, like, you should be presenting. Like, the part of your job is to like present this presentation well.
But how is that different than what Mia was like, the best version of yourself?
Right.
Because
right?
to me, like, there are times when you guys have to like talk to your superior or your subordinate, and like maybe, you know, you guys are in like a lunch and you have to like be engaging. Yeah, like, oh yeah, you did a great job.
You have to be, you know, interested in what
Yeah.
they are saying.
Right? That, so to me, that's two
the
different
difference.
things.
Yeah. So like if I'm not interested, like usually, so that I think that's the difference. I usually am genuinely interested.
Yes.
And if I'm not there.
Yes,
Like,
same for me.
Why,
yeah.
and that's why I think I have never struggled with like the networking part.
Yeah.
Because, and I know a lot of people do, because it's like, oh, it's so fake. It's this forced connection that you have to make because you want something. And I always tell people like, no, it's not. Like when people reach out to me, I'm so happy to give them my time. I'd be happy to like tell you, answer your questions, be somebody that you can look as an aid to.
Right.
And like, if I don't want to help you, it's pretty easy to not answer an email and like,
Yeah.
and just like not
I'm like that
answer.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
so I think I just happen to like, I actually am interested.
Yeah.
I'm interested in and I can see how that would be struggle. It would be a struggle if you are not interested in this person at all.
If I like the person
Yeah.
and respect them, I'll definitely give them my time.
Yeah.
But if I don't, then
But
I'll
I
just be
could
like,
see
"Sorry,
how
I don't
like
have time."
if you struggle with you're not interested in this person at all, but you kind of want something.
Yes.
Or like
Yeah.
you
Interesting.
or I guess, but to me, like they are tied very closely. So I
Okay.
can understand why it would be hard, because if I'm not interested and I don't want then I don't want what you have.
So
usually.
shifting gears. So Quan, when you were not in New York yet, the three of us plus all of our significant others went to a housewarming party upstate.
Okay.
Did you
Was it a
guys
bad
feel
experience?
you were on then or not on then? I'm just curious for my own knowledge.
Thomas does not recall.
Wait.
Yeah, we went up to Matt's house.
Oh, right.
Right? And it was like
Yeah.
all of us, like me, you, Felicia, Yi, Eric, and Mia. And there were a lot of people we knew there, and I'm sure there were people that you didn't care to see, and I'm sure there were people that you liked, because that was the case
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
So what was your mindset going to that social event?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I felt like I had to be on for that one.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like for a lot of people that I hadn't seen before. So
Right.
now it's like I have
Yes.
to think about what am I going to say to catch up and
Yes.
things like that.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You know,
So-
actually, the thing I hate the most is when people ask, like, on Mondays, like, oh, how was your weekend? I'm like, oh, crap, what did I do this weekend? Like, I didn't do much.
Yeah.
It's like, I might have done something, but I just don't want to
Oh my
spend
God.
time recalling it.
And then you talk about the weather.
Yeah,
So you guys
exactly.
were like, you're
But-
on.
wait,
Yeah.
question.
During that one.
Wait, can I
yeah,
ask?
if it's people that you're not really familiar with.
Okay.
Wait, can I ask, why don't you want to spend the time to recall like what you did? Because then
no,
it
no.
could be a real
No, because-
actual
for
conversation.
Thomas, that interaction isn't worth his time.
No,
but
it's-
isn't it better?
Thomas doesn't
But,
want to
but,
open that gate.
but isn't it better? Oh, I can see that. But like,
Thomas already
isn't
thought
it
that
better?
person's a serial killer. So he's
Because
like,
then you have this small talk, stupid conversation. You can still have a little good conversation and never talk to them again.
No, here's the thing. My memory is not very good.
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah,
No,
he's
no,
a- yeah,
no, this is
right,
an
I
actual,
agree.
Actual
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm gonna spend like a minute to recall what I did this
Yeah.
weekend. That is
Seriously?
not. That does not
You
make
need
good
omega
okay,
three.
so
I
let
say
me
that.
tell you. All right. I ask that to people all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't have high expectations.
Right.
I feel,
Right.
right? So like you might be like, "Oh my god, I got to come up." I'm literally just like, "Yeah, what'd you do this weekend?"
It just roll off
Yeah,
the
it's just
tongue.
like, just, "What did you do?" If you did nothing, that's fine. Okay, cool, man. Me too. I did nothing. And that's it. I have no other like, you know what I mean? Like
you
I
have
Yeah.
no other
expect-
intentions
Yeah.
of like.
No, I get that. I
Yeah.
get that. So that's why I'm just like, didn't do much.
Right.
Cleaned the house,
Yeah.
did chores, whatever.
And
You're
Right.
probably
And then
like
that's
you're
it.
one of the worst person to talk to.
No, 100%. No, I just.
Why does
I
this
just,
person keep talking? I feel like they should stop coming up
But
to
maybe
you.
they want to like
Yeah.
they want to.
No, and then
they
I
think
flip,
you're cool.
No, and then I flip it back on them. It's like, I didn't
Yeah.
do much. How was yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my strategy now. I just flip it back on them. No, because I just remember like I was in Taiwan a couple years ago. And like I hadn't been speaking Mandarin for a long time, so I get slow at it now.
Yeah.
Right.
And then so I'm just at like a convenience store, and I'm just like like I'm thinking of like the right
Taiwanese
phrasing.
stand over there
I'm just
working.
thinking of the right phrases to say,
Right,
and like
right.
I know it. I'm just looking for it. And
Right.
so when you're talking to people, there's like an acceptable time frame, right? And sometimes my mind just doesn't work that
I feel
fast.
like you're overthinking this.
I probably am too.
But I do think that though in 2022, I am definitely avoiding more social situations.
I would say so too.
For what reason?
I just don't want to interact with people that much, you know?
My reason is actually like I know there's a lot of people that like don't want like more like introverted people, so I was like, I want to talk to you if you want to talk to me, but if it's like I get the vibe that you don't want to talk to me, then like we're good. Like I don't need it. But I do think I have found that a lot of people actually don't mind conversing if it's not stupid, right? If it's
Right.
not this like weather, like
Oh, yeah.
how's your weekend,
Trivial, like mundane kind
and
of conversations.
somehow like there are ways to do it that I found, and it's very natural. It's just like, oh, we are able to stumble upon a subject where that person doesn't feel uncomfortable, because so this past weekend I did talk to like 2 random people, and I could tell
Where? I'm
at
curious.
this like beauty pop-up, and
Oh,
they were
okay.
really nice.
But see, that's like a social event though. Right?
Yes,
So
but
that's-
so many people are there to go in and out,
Yeah.
and like they don't like
Okay.
right similarly they don't need to talk to anyone, and also they were together, right? They had
Mm-hmm.
a buddy, like they didn't need to talk to me, but I was also just trying to be friendly, and
Mm-hmm.
also if you don't want to talk, then we kind of like, okay, we just like stand here, that's totally fine. But we naturally got to talking, but I could tell one of the girls was a little bit more like reserved,
Mm-hmm.
and I try to make people feel very, very comfortable so that if they want to engage, there's like no, it's very safe. It's like you don't have, there's no like this expectation of like you have to say something. You can just like agree or you can just like or it's like a more specific question so that like you don't really need to think that much, but it's like still valuable, still like a connection. So I do it less because like I don't want to, I'm looking for like good conversations. Like who wants to have a bad conversation where people don't want to talk to you? Like I'm not into that, right? No one's into that. So
good
like,
conversations only.
yeah. So like sometimes at work, I just like
Yeah.
pull it back a little more. Cause like, you know,
Yeah.
work is like, sometimes people are just like, I'm here and I'm out. So what
Wow.
about you guys?
Thomas was
Is it the
walking back
same?
and forth while you were talking. like apparently he's uncomfortable when you were talking about
I
that.
actually like realized I just haven't been in the same work setting as you guys for so long
That's
that
one.
I just don't even know how it works anymore. Like it's like dating too. Like I haven't dated in I don't know like 16 years or whatever. Like
Wait, that's not true. You went on a date
What do you mean?
for Yi's birthday.
Oh, that's not a date. That's just we're going out.
Yeah, it was a date.
Like
No,
okay, I haven't
like
been
a dating,
dating.
dating.
So I don't even know like how it
yeah,
works.
yeah.
and,
How to
like,
woo
how
other
to-
people.
Yeah, or how to even like use an app to date or something, you know?
Okay.
So I'm so out of like the normal social constructs of like our society, you know. But I still talk to strangers on the street. So I do
Good
like
for you.
like there are people. It's very like okay when somebody gets in the elevator. What goes through your mind? Are you like, oh my god, don't say anything to me? Or are you
No,
like,
I'm.
I want to hear what Thomas. Thomas, what do you do?
Sounds
I
like-
feel like
I don't
Don't
even
give me
acknowledge
that.
them. I'm listening to something in my on headphones.
I do too. I do too.
Yeah.
Because like New Yorkers,
Yeah.
you constantly are listening to something on your headphones
I'm just
and
trying to.
tune other people out.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know anyone in my building, in any of the buildings I've lived in.
So okay, so the difference. So Kwan and I think we find people interesting. Would you say so?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Right. Not saying that you don't find people interesting.
we don't find
No,
people.
we don't.
I think that's the main
No,
difference.
I think it's fair. Yeah.
Or
Okay.
it's like,
Let's be
or
real.
okay, maybe more
Okay.
more accurately, it's like there's a much smaller subset of people
Correct.
that you find interesting,
Correct.
Right.
and like we just probably find like
As in, like, we don't purposely seek out,
Yeah.
conversations with strangers. If it
Right.
happens naturally, then sure.
Yeah, a lot
like,
of-
yeah.
but
But
I
that
think-
but that natural threshold for
For
me
us,
and Quan
yeah,
is like
pretty
Because I don't think me and Dan are like, hey,
Yeah.
will you talk?
Yeah, like I'm not accosting people on the street. It
But
has
just
to be
like,
natural.
Yes, it's like
Yeah.
it just happens,
It just
and we
happens.
just like
But it's okay.
and it keeps
so
going.
how do most of these conversations happen?
Okay,
then?
I'll give you an example. Right? Okay, so I saw this person get in the elevator, and like everybody in my building has been using the gym, so I just assumed she was in my building. So I was like, "Oh, how are you liking the new gym?" She's like, "Oh, I don't live in the building." And then they just talk more. It's like this thing where, okay, I'm not asking more questions. They just volunteer answers. Oh, I live in this building. Oh, okay. And then it just leads to more conversation. Oh yeah, how do you like that building? Like, I live in this building, and then you just talk, and then like, yeah, just talk. It's just a conversation, right? It's
See,
natural,
I wouldn't ask that first question.
That's fair.
right?
Yeah, so that is the difference.
I can't help myself sometimes.
Right. I know. There's like so.
Yeah.
I'll give it another example where like it is more initiatory. So I give people compliments.
Yeah,
so
me too.
so okay, like I'll give an example. So like I was taking a bus back from the airport, and I was trying to like see if I had any more money left on my card, and I was like swiping the thing, like struggling, and it was very clear that, or I was trying to put money on it, and it was very clear this was not a machine that you could like put money on. You could only check it.
Right.
And so then the guy saw that I was struggling, and he was like, "Hey, I think this is only like one where you can check it." And I was like, "You're really good at reading." And I was like, "Good job."
When's the last time you gave a stranger a compliment,
Oh, a
Thomas?
stranger.
Ever? Has this ever
A
happened?
stranger?
A compliment.
I don't think that's happened.
Ever.
No.
But that could be, you
What about
can't
you?
remember.
A stranger?
A stranger a compliment. Like, for example,
Yeah,
hey, nice kicks. I really like those shoes. Or like, yeah, where'd you get those shoes? Where'd you get that coat? I like that coat. You never done that?
That throws me off.
It does?
Yeah, that throws me off.
When you receive it, when
when
you
I
receive
receive
it.
it. When I receive
Oh.
it. Yeah. Like I was sitting at work, and then the guy adjacent from me like DMs me and like complimenting my haircut. He's
There
like,
you go,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's like, hey, fresh cut.
It's just
Like,
so you
nice.
don't
I'm like,
you don't do that to other people.
No.
Well, okay, so it throws you off
no,
as in.
no, because
talk more about
and
that.
then I DM Felicia. I was like, is this a objective statement or a compliment? Like, what is this?
Both.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they just
Wait,
like your,
what
hey
did she
man, good
respond with?
haircut. Yeah. Like, hey, I like those
Okay.
kicks. I like that shirt. I like
Yeah.
that whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
And-
your style.
And some of it's like I feel I get uncomfortable receiving compliments,
Yeah.
so I always have to respond with like something that's like
Snarky?
yeah, but like detrimental to myself.
Right,
Oh,
right.
self-deprecating.
Thank you, deprecating. And then I was like, yeah, it's like passport photos gotta look nice for them. And then I look decrepit in my photos, and I start showing them too.
How many times
You start
How many
showing
times-
them too.
have you gotten compliments on your calves in the summertime?
Less in winter.
Way too many times. Yeah, that's weird. And it's always from guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Guys are like, yo, those calves are crazy, yo. How do I get some calves like yours? Like,
Yeah, and it's always like the first time I met the person,
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, what kind of leg workouts do you do?
genetics.
It's a shocking sight.
Yeah. Well, I'm also just thinking about like, I think I've changed in the last 2 years due to COVID, due to like getting older, just having less like just, I don't know, being annoyed at people more. I'm just like, how do you survive in this world? Whereas when I was younger, I had
Mm.
more of a curiosity.
Right.
And, like,
I
less
think that's
jaded.
the thing of
Yeah.
like the curiosity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think at least for me, it's just like I'm more curious in what this podcast or music is
Right.
telling me.
Right, right. Because like that's the introvert part of yourself.
Also, I'm
Yeah.
trained not to like make any eye contact with people in New York. So
I would say New York, not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I think you like read the vibe. Like I'm not trying to put
Yeah.
myself into a situation, but if
Especially
you can,
right now. Like
Yeah.
I've seen crazy deranged people yell at women like on the subway.
Yeah.
And the people are like, "Yo, leave her alone." And she's like, "I don't even want to talk to you."
Yeah.
And then maybe because like they,
like that split second of
that split
yeah.
second. And
Yeah.
it's just like there are actual schizophrenic crazy people in New York City.
Yeah.
So New
Yes.
York, protect
Special
yourself.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Special place.
Kwan,
When in doubt,
protect yourself.
yourself.
I feel like I've been good because also like on the street, I literally
Yeah.
look at no one.
Right.
And I think on the subway, I also look at no one.
Just keep.
And
Yeah.
there are
put
some,
your head down.
and there are sometimes I'm like, oh, this is a normal person, and
Yeah.
it'd be like when we can have some moments.
Except for when you
just with
see a
our
guy
eyes.
that you're like, hey, remember you
I
get
can't do
his
that.
phone number.
I can't do that. I can't do
No,
that.
come on.
I can't do that.
Like, hello.
Especially on the subway where like people keep to themselves a
Yeah.
lot. It's kind of like I think it's similar to an elevator situation
Mm-hmm.
where it's like it's just not a place that people are trying to strike up a conversation, which
Yeah.
is totally okay. That's totally fine. But it's like I can't. I'm not that bold.
One of
I'm
my
not that bold.
coworkers like asked the girl out the other day at the subway platform, like
Wow.
old school, yo, just old school. It like
Did it work?
Did it work?
yeah.
Wow.
That's impressive because
Yeah.
it's so. I feel like 80% of the time it's gonna be weird. It's gonna come
But
across
Wait,
wrong.
is your coworker good looking?
He's not bad looking, but he's definitely not like a ladies' man. Like he's a little bit, like he's not a bad looking guy, but he's not somebody that would do that often. Like he said, and he was like, this is a one off, and he wasn't
Oh,
just
so
like,
he
hi,
felt it.
how
Yeah,
are
yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was like strike up random conversation, and then it kind of went somewhere, and
That's
then he was
cool.
like. Oh, I
Yeah.
kind of gotta ask you for your number, and I was like, if you didn't ask her for a number, I would have like not talked to you again. Like you went through all of that, and you didn't even get her phone number. Like, are you serious?
Good
What
for
are you
him.
doing? So,
Good
but I
job.
think actually it's an advantage now because everyone's so used to like,
True.
Yep.
you know, like getting a DM or
Yes.
matching up. Now, like you could blindside people, like going up to them and just like, hey, how are you? And they're like, oh, what's going on? What is this? Am I on a TV show? Because we got.
Someone's talking to me.
I think we got so bad now at like social interactions. Like I think
Yes.
we've all like gotten worse.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, to what you said earlier, I do feel like, yeah, after the COVID and everything, yeah, it just tires me out a lot more. Like, I actually enjoy going to the office because it gives my day structure.
Yeah.
And like,
Because
there's
you
a
were
clear-
struggling with that during COVID.
Yes, yeah.
Just, like,
There's a
at
clear
home.
delineation of when work starts, when work ends,
Yeah.
right? But like, yeah, like so for my company, we designate Tuesday and Thursdays as like where we try to do more of our meetings, and those days are exhausting for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very sad. That's only 2 days, and it's probably
No, but for like the recurring ones, it's like that's when everyone's gonna
lot.
try to be in the office.
Yeah.
So we try to
could
schedule
see.
everything on Tuesday and Thursdays.
Okay.
It's like
a
Oh,
full day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
and then so like after those days, I'm just like actually drained.
But see, that's a product of the post-COVID work
Right.
environment
Yep.
Yeah.
because
Totally.
people
because
are
before
in
it would
office
be more
less.
spread out,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, I mean, like we'll still do like meetings asynchronously, or I mean, like on Zoom or whatever, right? Like more spontaneously. But it's just like, yeah, I just noticed myself the other week. I was like, wow, like I'm exhausted from talking
Yeah.
to people.
I mean, dating too. Like, do you guys find dating more socially awkward? Come on, you know I was gonna ask that. Well, like,
We cannot speak to this experience.
come on, you've been in New York how long? You haven't gone on a date?
Find me one.
I am.
Find
putting-
me one.
You guys haven't gone to like speed dating
Oh,
together?
yeah.
Oh my god.
One of these good close friends
Really?
just did a speed dating.
Oh my
thing.
gosh.
Yeah.
Wait, so that actually exists?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah, and they
Still?
yeah,
Yeah.
they were excited to go
I
on
remember.
it. They were
Yeah,
they were
I
like,
think that
I'm
would-
going on a speed dating thing,
That's cool.
and you're like in Hitch.
It, like as in Hitch. Like I think that would be fun to do literally just for the. I'm not expecting. I'm not
Yeah.
expecting.
Why don't you do it together?
We could, Mia.
You-
And then we
you
can
sh-
talk
we
about
need to-
it. And,
we could.
And we're gonna talk about it.
We could.
Wait, edit this out.
We could.
I
It would be
mean,
funny. It would be hilarious.
It's like sales leads, right? It's a numbers game.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Think of it as sales.
Yeah, I think you could.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
That's helpful.
Be like,
And then when you're not interested, just disengage and then start DMing your
Because
family.
isn't it also like 5 minutes?
Yeah, see?
It's also like
no
quick.
less. I think maybe
Oh,
even
sweet.
less. I don't know. 2 minutes.
Okay.
I don't know. 2 minutes is a long time. If you don't,
If
if
you
you're
don't
not
like
interested in the
them,
person,
we're
you're just
done.
like,
That is true. But then how many people did Ye's friend talk
I gotta
to?
ask. I think
I'm
quite a few.
Invested in the
Yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah.
It's
I'm
like
gonna ask
real
her.
live swiping.
Yeah. That's what it is.
There it is.
And then what if you're like, what if the way you exit is like, please go to the left. Or please go to, I actually don't even know left or right, which is good or bad. I actually don't even know.
Left is bad.
Is bad?
Right?
Okay, so
Right?
right is good.
I think.
I've literally.
I
Actually,
forget.
I don't know.
Well, I should not
I'm
know.
so
It would be an
innocent.
issue if I knew.
I do. It's so infrequent. So, yeah.
Because you're just like, I can't decide. No, I'm just kidding. Like, no. Anyways,
I think we're there.
We're there.
yeah.
All right, guys. My social battery is
This is a
5.
time to
Our
turn off.
collective social batteries are drained.
Oh my goodness.
No, but actually, when Dan is on, he's always on, and then when he's off, he's just asleep.
You just pass out.
I'm done.
But then,
Asleep.
like,
Done.
Asleep.
you don't. You go to zero. You go to from 0 to 60 quite quickly.
Like 0 to 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always been me. Because if I've got that shot of energy, I'm just like, let's go. And then if I don't, it's like very evident. Like the Windows sound start like, like, and I can't. I'd be like, guys, I'm
Can't think. Like
we've been out where at night I'm just like, I'm so tired, guys, and I'm just like, so I don't have. That's the thing. If I don't
You just
have
shut
the
down.
energy,
You just
I don't feel bad. My energy level's low.
Yeah.
I'm not on right now. Like we've
And
been
you don't
sitting
feel
there.
the
I'm
need
just
to
like,
try to like hype yourself up.
yeah.
Oh, that's
I'll be like,
interesting.
and I'm still like, this is great, guys. I'm happy I'm here, but I'm really tired, so I'm not going to contribute that much.
I think that's okay.
That's
I think
fair.
that's totally okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, I hope you enjoy this conversation. I think it's safe to say that we present different, perspectives, different thoughts and feedback. So
Who do you resonate with more?
True. I think we have everybody from the spectrum,
we
like the
kinda
whole
covered it,
spectrum
yeah.
we represent. So,
I think that's true.
yeah. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.